In response to the tragic death of a young hiker electrocuted by Amtrak power lines while hiking up behind the FDR Historical Estate earlier this month, Senator Chuck Schumer was in Poughkeepsie today calling out to Amtrak that it's in need of an immediate audit of all of its power lines along the riverside as well as the signage, so that an incident like the one that happened never happens again.
The Hudson Valley is known for having some of the most beautiful hiking trails, scenic parks, and picturesque recreation areas. Listen to this. The beauty here is so great that the National Geographic Traveler named Hudson Valley as one of its top 20 must-see places on the best of the world list. One that's known particularly well is the Franklin Delano Roosevelt Estate Park, a National Historic Site here in Dutchess. The FDR Estate in Hyde Park, not too far from where we are today, is a Dutchess County favorite, filled with gorgeous trails, backs right up against the Hudson. But the beauty of these lands and the calm serenity that comes from hiking through them was recently marred when it came to light that Dutchess County parks, like the FDR Estate, could be laden with dangerous, low-hanging power lines capable of doing serious harm. As I'm sure you're all aware today, just 2 weeks ago, a CIA, Culinary Institute of America student named Noah Black was killed when he was electrocuted by a low-hanging utility wire at the FDR Estate. He was hiking with 3 of his friends. It's hard to fathom the horror these college sophomores must have gone through, seeing this happen and then trying to get help for their friends where they were out in the middle of a remote wooded area. Now, where did you might ask, where'd these wires come from? Well, they're certainly not part of FDR's natural landscape. Instead, the power line that killed Noah is owned by Amtrak. These are power lines that run along the railroad tracks as trains make their way up and down the Hudson. Amtrak has close to 50 miles worth of track in Dutchess County, much of which runs alongside parks and tourist sites, just like the FDR Estate, that's frequented by the residents and visitors. Some of these areas include staples, like the Vanderbilt Mansion National Historic Site, the Mills Memorial State Park in Statberg, the Hudson Highland Park in Fishkill. And what's more, there are additional trails and tourist attractions set to be created in the area very soon. In fact, the Hudson Highland Fjord Trail, which will create a set of multi-use trails that connect Cold Spring and Beacon, will break ground this spring, meaning even more hikers and outdoor enthusiasts will be visiting our area. Unfortunately, now we have to question whether they may be in harm's way, and that's why I'm here today. The tragedy, it breaks your heart. And you don't want people to think twice whether they want to enjoy nature here in Dutchess in trails in their own backyards. I'm here to say that this tragic, untimely loss of a Dutchess County student should serve as a wake-up call to Amtrak officials that they need to take a good hard look at their infrastructure, particularly electrical wires that run along these railroad lines, particularly those that run through parks and hiking trails and recreation areas that so many people love. The idea that you can go hiking and get zapped by anything other than a mosquito boggles the mind. So in the wake of this horrible tragedy, I'm urging Amtrak to conduct a complete audit of all its power lines throughout Dutchess County and the Hudson Valley. They need to do this in order to ensure safety of residents and visitors. What happened to Noah should never happen again. It was preventable. And we need to find out where the other safety risks are. The health and safety of our families is a top concern, and we need to make sure it's a top concern for Amtrak as well. So, in the course of doing this audit, I'm asking Amtrak to do 2 things. First, determine if if this audit determines that certain power lines are too low, Amtrak should make the necessary changes to ensure the wires are raised to a safe level. And second, if these wires are low for a reason and can't be raised to any higher ground, Amtrak should install additional, easily discernible signage that clearly points out where the power line is and the potential danger of getting too close to it. According to local police, there was no signage near the wire that ended Noah's life. That's unacceptable, whether it's off the beaten path or on it. There should be no confusion when it comes to utility wires that can deliver fatal shocks. The last thing you should have to worry about when you're hiking and enjoying the great outdoors in the beautiful Hudson Valley is being electrocuted by low-hanging power lines. And that's why I'm calling on Amtrak to conduct an audit of all its power lines in the region to ensure that they are safe, far enough from the ground, and properly marked. The tragedy that took place 2 weeks ago down the tracks from us here should not be in vain. Residents should never have to worry that they're putting their lives at risk by enjoying the beauty of their own backyards.